Okay, this is the Quadrant stretching program, and this is, we're gonna use a chair. I've shot other videos using the stairs, but we're gonna use the chair because that's a little bit more functional for some people. So, with the Quadrant stretching program, there's 4 parts that we're gonna be stretching, quad 4. There's 4 parts of the leg. The anterior part, the outside, the backside, and the inside. So the reason I call it the Quadrant is because it's a systematic way to know what the different parts are that you need to stretch and just work through each one of the quadrants, okay? So here we're gonna start with the front part. You're gonna put your foot up on the chair. You can use the back part of the chair if you need to for balancing. Both feet are gonna point straight up towards the chair, and then what you're going to do is you're gonna lean backwards just a little bit until you feel a pull here. When you feel that pull, you push forward, and you should feel more of a pull. Then what you're gonna do is move in and out of that position 10 times. At the end of the 10th time, you push forward and hold until you feel that pull there, and then you're gonna move your hips from side to side like this, and you do that 10 times. After the 10th time, you push forward again until you feel that strong pull, then you're gonna make circles. And in this case, I'm doing counterclockwise, so do 10 and then do 10 clockwise, okay? And that's gonna cover stretching the anterior quadrant. Now we're gonna go to the inside quadrant. So this time I'm having my foot point towards you. The other foot points is on the step on the chair pointing in this direction. So we have kind of a T formation with our feet. You're gonna push this knee forward until you feel a pull coming from the inside part of your legs, the inner quadrant. Then you're gonna push the knee back and forth like this 10 times. On the 10th time, you're gonna lean forward till you feel that stretch, and then you're gonna move your pelvis forward and you're gonna move it back. You're gonna do that 10 times. After that, you're gonna move your pelvis in a circle one direction 10 times, and 10 times in the opposite direction. And that covers, the reason I'm having, we're moving in a straightforward side to side and circular is it covers all 3 planes of motion, and those are the 3 planes of motion we move in daily life. The next one is for the hamstrings. It's the posterior quadrant. What we're gonna do is, for some people that have really tight hamstrings, you just put your hands down and push your knees back, and if you feel a really strong pull back here, then this is gonna work, just putting your hands down. For some people that can't feel that, you can go down and you can put your elbows down, and if that's too hard of one, you'll have to kind of go in between where you feel a good stretch. So you push your knees back and let them bend just a little. You don't have to bend them a long ways, just a little bit. And I'm gonna have you do this 15 times, going back and forth, each time feeling a slight stretch. On the 15th time, you're gonna lock backwards, and then you're gonna move your hips straight side to side like this. This moves in the frontal direction, in the frontal plane, which then stretches the hamstring in the frontal plane. After you've done 15 of those, you're gonna do a circular fashion like this, and that works in the transverse plane. You're gonna do 15 of those. So that'll cover the sagittal, the frontal, and then this last plane of motion, the transverse plane. So now we've covered the front, the inside, and we've covered the back side. Now we need to cover the outside. So I'm gonna show you from behind. So I'm gonna be talking louder, so hopefully you can hear me, but I'm gonna shoot it from the behind so you can see it better. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna line up your feet in a parallel fashion, okay? Actually, in this case, we're gonna put the left in front of the right because we're gonna stretch the right hip. Whatever hip you're gonna stretch, you put that in the backwards position. So from this position here, I'm gonna have you move your feet over so you're just on the inside part of the chair. You're gonna move your hands slightly over to the right-hand side of the chair, or your right-hand side of the chair. And then what you're gonna do is you push your hip outward until you can feel a pull here, okay? Once you feel that pull, you're gonna do a small circle in that direction. And in this case, I'm doing it clockwise. So I'm gonna have you do 15 clockwise, and then you reverse your direction and do 15 counterclockwise, okay? So now if we're gonna do the other side, we put the left foot behind because that's the foot we're stretching. We get up closer to the right hand legs, move our hands over to the left hand leg here, and we're gonna push our left hip out and just repeat that. And that's gonna cover all the 4 quadrants, and it's all 3 planes of motion. And hope you enjoy your exercising, and cut.